You were told that manifesting the life of your dreams is difficult, that it requires complicated rituals, endless visualizations, perfectly crafted affirmations, and constant grueling work to raise your vibration. But what if I told you that quantum manifestation is actually strikingly simple? So simple that almost no one does it correctly. You are living inside a quantum field right now. It's a field of infinite possibilities, a field that responds not to your effort, but to your alignment, coherence. And yet, most people approach manifestation like a battle. They try to overcome their current reality with sheer willpower. They repeat affirmations they do not believe, visualize outcomes they secretly doubt, and force themselves to think positively while their body is still locked in fear, scarcity, and stress. And this is where the entire system breaks down. Because in the quantum world, forcing is friction. Let us boil it down to something utterly simple. Quantum manifestation is not about getting what you want. It is about collapsing the version of reality where you already have it. It is not about changing the external world first. It is about embodying the internal signal that draws that world to you. The quantum field holds every possibility, success and failure, abundance and need, love and loneliness, health and struggle. All of it already exists as waves of probability. But here's the catch. A wave does not collapse into your lived reality until it meets a coherent observer. That observer is you. Your focus, your attention, your emotions, these are the sculptors of reality. But most people are stuck in a cycle. They observe from a state of fear. They focus on what is missing. They vibrate on the frequency of lack while trying to attract abundance. And in the language of the quantum, that is noise, not a signal. You have been taught to chase what you want. But the true art of manifestation is to become the version of yourself that no longer needs to chase. This is the version of you that remembers, I am already entangled with the life I desire. The field is waiting for my signal. My job is not to push harder, but to become clearer. So why do people not do this? Because simplicity is disarming. Because letting go feels unnatural. Because stopping the chase feels like surrender. But here is the paradox no one talks about. The moment you stop needing it so badly, the field can finally deliver it to you. Let me give you an example. Think of a time when something came to you effortlessly. Maybe you ran into the perfect person by chance. You received an opportunity you were not even looking for, or you had a breakthrough idea when you were not trying. What is the common thread? You were not grasping. You were not forcing. You were open, aligned, available. That is how quantum manifestation works, whether you realized it or not. You see, the quantum does not care about your words. It reads your energy. You can say, I am rich 1,000 times. But if your body is still broadcasting fear, if your heart is still constricted in scarcity, if your nervous system is still addicted to the struggle, the field will reflect that chaos back to you. Not because it is cruel, but because it is precise. So here is the radical shift. Quantum manifestation begins when you stop focusing on getting and start focusing on being. You become the signal. You embody the vibration. You allow your state to lead, not your effort. But this brings up a critically important question. What exactly does the quantum field respond to? Is it only thoughts, emotions, beliefs, actions? And how do you align those layers so they are not sending mixed messages? This is where most manifestation teachings fail. They focus on only one part, usually the thoughts or the feelings, neglecting the deeper coherence of the entire system. You are told to think positive without working with the trauma stored in the body. You are told to visualize without clearing the subconscious sabotage that is throwing you off course. You are told to affirm success while your nervous system is still braced for failure. But the quantum field is listening to the whole signal, the integrated, embodied signal. And this is why alignment is not a mental game. It is a full body, full system, full field shift. Moving forward, we are going to break down exactly how the quantum field works, why the observer effect matters, what it truly means to collapse the wave, and how your subconscious is broadcasting signals even when you are unaware of it. We will reveal the elegant mechanics of what appears to be magic, and I will show you why manifestation works best when you stop trying so hard. So, here is my open question to you, and I invite you to sit with it. In what area of your life are you trying so hard that you have become the very block you are trying to push through? The quantum field does not respond to your wants. It responds to your coherence, alignment. At its core, quantum manifestation is not just about thoughts, not just about emotions or even actions. It is about how those three elements align into a coherent signal that the field can read without distortion. Picture the quantum field as a cosmic interpreter. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned, the message is clean, the vibration is steady, and the field responds almost instantly. But when you are thinking one thing, feeling another, and doing something completely unrelated, the message is scrambled. The field reflects back chaos, not clarity. This is where the observer effect, a cornerstone of quantum physics, comes in. At the quantum level, particles exist in a state of pure possibility, which we call the wave function. But when an observer, you, focuses on a specific possibility, that wave collapses into a fixed event. Reality solidifies, choices crystallize. The invisible becomes visible. But here is the twist. The observer is not just your conscious mind. The observer is also your subconscious mind. This means even if you consciously want abundance, but your subconscious is programmed for survival, scarcity, or fear, the field is picking up that hidden broadcast. Your subconscious becomes the true observer, collapsing the timeline you did not consciously choose. This is why so many people feel stuck. They align their surface mind but ignore the deep programs running inside. And in the quantum game, the subconscious always wins. But it gets even more fascinating. Scientists have shown that the heart has its own electromagnetic field, far more powerful than the brain's. This heart field radiates outward and interacts with the larger quantum field around you. When your heart and brain are in coherence, you are sending a powerful, unified signal. When they are out of sync, the signal becomes weak and fragmented. This is why trying to manifest purely from the mind so often fails. Without the emotional component, the felt sense of alignment, the quantum field has no clear signal to reflect. And this is where most people go wrong. They want to think their way into change, when in reality they need to feel their way into coherence. You cannot just tell the field what you want. You must become the vibrational match to it. This means tuning your body, your breath, your nervous system, your beliefs, your daily choices into harmony. It is not a one-time ritual. It is a living practice. Take a real-life example. Imagine you want to manifest love. You can write affirmations, make vision boards, visualize the perfect partner. But if deep down you are carrying wounds of unworthiness, if your nervous system is braced for rejection, if your heart is armored and afraid to open, the quantum field senses that tension. It picks up the contradiction, and what you receive back is more longing, more searching, more almost connections, but not quite. It is not that the universe is punishing you. It is that it is perfectly reflecting your dominant frequency. So what is the shift? The shift is into coherence, into the felt sense of wholeness right now, into practicing the emotions of what you desire before it manifests, into embodying the state that it is already here. So the field can collapse that timeline into form. You become the frequency first, and the form follows. This may sound complex, but here is the simple, profound truth. The more you let go of controlling the outcome, and the more you focus on regulating your internal state, the faster the quantum field responds. This is why it was said that it is simple, yet no one does it. Because the human mind loves to complicate. We want 10 steps, 5 hacks, a guaranteed formula. But the quantum field is not a machine. It is a mirror. It is a dance partner. It is living, responsive, intelligent, and it waits for you to meet it with a steady, embodied presence. So, Here is where I invite you to join me in this practice. Take a deep breath right now. Notice how your body feels as you listen. Notice where you are holding tension. Notice the stories running in the background. And just for a moment, soften. Allow the grip to loosen. Allow the need to fix, to force, to figure it all out, to dissolve. Feel what it is like to be okay right here, right now, without needing anything to change. This is where your power begins. So why is it that almost no one actually does this? Why, despite all the manifestation information out there, do so many people remain stuck, frustrated, and disappointed? The answer is both simple and uncomfortable. Because letting go feels unnatural. The human mind is addicted to control. We are trained to believe that the harder we try, the more we deserve, that struggle equals worthiness, that the more we work, the higher the probability of success. So when we encounter a system like quantum manifestation, where coherence, alignment, and surrender are the key, it short-circuits our programming. We keep trying to force the outcomes, even though forcing is the very frequency that tells the field we do not trust the process. Let us break this down. Most people who fail at manifestation fall into what is called the control trap. They are constantly monitoring their results. They visualize abundance, but check their bank account anxiously every hour. They script love, but obsessively check messages and dating apps. They affirm health, but scan their body every morning for symptoms. By doing this, they are sending the field a signal of distrust. They are affirming one thing consciously, but broadcasting the opposite subconsciously. Why does this matter so much? Because the quantum field does not speak any human language. It speaks the language of energy, and energy never lies. You can say all the right words, but if your nervous system is bracing for loss, if your mind is locked in loops of doubt, if your body is flooded with cortisol, the field is listening to that deeper frequency. This is why so many people are exhausted. They are doing all the things, but they are doing them from a state of hypervigilance, scarcity, and need. And so, they loop. They manifest more waiting, more lack, more effort, more searching, because energetically, they are not on the timeline of already having. They are on the timeline of trying to get. And here is what is even more subtle. The subconscious mind runs approximately 95% of your life. It is the autopilot that shapes your habits, beliefs, emotional reactions, and sense of identity. You can consciously want a breakthrough, but if your subconscious is anchored in old stories, I am not good enough, I fail at everything, I have to struggle for everything, those stories will collapse the wave into the same old outcomes. This is why affirmations without embodiment feel hollow. This is why visualizations without nervous system regulation collapse. This is why action without an aligned identity leads to burnout. So what can you do? First, you must understand that quantum manifestation is not an add-on to your life. It is a recalibration of your entire system. It is a remembering, a returning. It is about becoming the version of yourself that lives inside the timeline you desire before you see the evidence of that timeline in your external world. For example, if you want to manifest abundance, you practice the feeling of abundance now, not later, not when the money arrives, but now. You treat yourself with generosity, presence, and care. You let go of micromanaging the outcome and focus on embodying the signal of trust. If you want love, you practice self-love now. You open your heart. You soften your edges. You become the partner you wish to attract. You stop seeking validation and start living as if you are already enough, because you are. If you want health, you stop scanning your body for what is wrong and start cherishing what is right. You shift out of survival mode and into sustainability. You practice gratitude for the body you have, gently guiding it toward greater vitality. And here is the paradox. When you stop needing it so badly, it comes faster, not because the universe is testing you or playing games, but because you are no longer the resistance. So let me ask you, where in your life are you still holding the steering wheel with white-knuckled tension? Where are you still measuring, monitoring, forcing, and chasing? What would happen if you loosened your grip by just 10%? Sit with that for a moment. This is not about passivity. This is about shifting from control to co-creation. And that shift, subtle, powerful, revolutionary, is where quantum manifestation truly begins to work. In the next section, we will talk about the simple yet rarely practiced techniques that can help you rewire your system, regulate your state, and become the clearest signal for the quantum field. We will explore how to dissolve resistance without bypassing your real emotions, how to build trust with your subconscious, and how to step into the timeline you desire, as if it is already yours. So, here is my question for reflection before we move forward. In what area of your life are you clinging so tightly that you have become the very block you are trying to remove? So we are standing right on the edge of the most powerful truth in quantum manifestation, the part almost no one talks about, the part that is hidden in plain sight. It is this: you do not manifest what you want, you manifest who you are. This is not just a pretty idea. It is a fundamental principle that shapes how the quantum field interacts with you. The field does not respond to your words, your vision boards, or your perfect affirmations. It responds to the signal of your being, the vibrational signature you carry into every room, every thought, every interaction. And this signal is built moment by moment, not in what you do, but in how you are. Let me explain this with a metaphor. Imagine you are a radio. If you want to hear jazz, you do not sit demanding jazz from the universe while remaining tuned to a heavy metal station. You must change the dial. You must tune your frequency to match what you want to receive. Quantum manifestation works the same way. You cannot attract the desired timeline while vibrating on the frequency of the timeline you are trying to leave. So, how do you change the dial? You begin by noticing your current frequency, not just what you think, but what you feel. How does your body move throughout the day? How do you breathe when you are stressed? What are the stories looping in the background of your mind? Most of us are not manifesting intentionally. We are manifesting on autopilot, recycling the same states, the same reactions, the same energetic broadcasts. And the field, it dutifully reflects them back to us. The shift begins when you interrupt the pattern, not with brute force, not with frantic effort, but with simple embodied practices. This can be as subtle as a conscious breath in a moment of anxiety, as gentle as placing your hand on your heart when you are spiraling into self-doubt, as bold as asking yourself, what would the version of me that already has this do right now? And then taking one small action from that state. Because here is what no one tells you. The quantum field does not need you to be perfect. It just needs you to be coherent. Coherence is when your thoughts, emotions, and actions are moving in the same direction. It is when you stop saying one thing, feeling another, and doing something completely different. It is when your entire system is humming with one unified signal. And when you hit that state, even for a short time, you create a sort of gravitational pull in the field. Reality begins to bend in your direction. But let us be practical. If you want to embody abundance, practice generosity, not just with money, but with attention, time, energy. Train your nervous system to feel the sensation of, I have enough, even if the numbers in your bank account have not yet matched. If you want to embody love, practice vulnerability. Open your heart in small, courageous ways. Be the safe space you are seeking to find in someone else. If you want to embody health, practice presence. Listen to your body, nourish it, move it, rest it from a place of respect, not punishment. This is the simple path, and yet few walk it because it asks you to go first, to become the frequency before the evidence arrives, to lead with being, not with need. And this leads us to one of the most misunderstood aspects of the entire manifestation topic: emotional regulation. People assume manifestation is about feeling good all the time. It is not. It is about feeling real all the time, and learning how to bring your system back into alignment when you wobble. It means welcoming your emotions, not bypassing them. It means making room for fear without letting it drive the car. It means practicing emotional fluency so you can navigate the waves without drowning in them. Here is the truth. You will wobble. You will doubt. You will have days when the old timeline pulls at your heels. That is okay. The power is not in never falling. It is in how you return. So, here is my invitation to you right now. Take a breath. Notice where you are. Ask yourself, what timeline am I tuned into at this moment? Is it the line of fear or trust? Is it the line of lack or abundance? Is it the line of waiting or arriving? Without judgment, just notice. Because the moment you notice, you create a point of choice. And choice is the gateway to coherence. Here is the final piece of the puzzle, and I want you to truly hear this. Manifestation is not a performance. It is a practice. It is not something you master once. It is something you live moment by moment, choice by choice. So many people get stuck in the belief that manifestation is about doing more, about hacking the system, about perfecting the formula. But in reality, the most powerful manifestors are not the ones who know the most techniques. They are the ones who have learned to hold a coherent state, to regulate themselves back into alignment when life inevitably shakes them. Because here is the reality. You will face moments that test you. There will be days when fear creeps back in, when old patterns whisper in your ear, when the timeline you are trying to leave feels like it is pulling you back. And in those moments, you will be tempted to shift back into control mode, to push, to force, to micromanage. But the real mastery is this. Can you stay on the frequency of trust even when the evidence has not yet arrived? Can you hold the vibration of "it is already done" while the world still looks the same? Can you become so anchored in the new timeline that the old one no longer seduces you? This is where embodiment becomes non-negotiable, so let us make this practical. Every morning before you check your phone, take a few breaths and ask yourself, what frequency am I tuning into today? Is it lack or abundance, fear or trust, control or flow? Throughout the day, use your body as a compass. Your body will tell you when you have fallen out of alignment. You will feel tension, constriction, contraction. And in that moment, you do not have to shame yourself or spiral. You just need to notice, breathe, and recalibrate. Ask, what would the version of me living my desired timeline choose right now? Then take one small action from that state. And at night, before you fall asleep, replay the day not with judgment, but with curiosity. Where did you wobble? Where did you align? Where did you see a glimpse of your own power? Gratitude amplifies coherence. Acknowledge even the smallest wins. Now here is what most people miss. Environment matters. We are social, energetic beings. We co-regulate with the people around us. When you surround yourself with those who are practicing coherence, who are playing in the quantum field, who are committed to embodiment, your system tunes to that vibration. This is why it is so important to curate your environment, not just physically, but energetically. Find the voices, the spaces that remind you of who you are becoming. Fill your field with reminders of your chosen timeline. Let your outer world become an ally to your inner practice. And remember this, there is no finish line. The point is not to arrive and stop. The point is to live within the continuous unfolding, where you are becoming the living edge of your own evolution, where you are not just manifesting things, but becoming the one who lives as a creator, a co-creator, a conscious participant in the shaping of reality. Because here is the most beautiful part. The quantum field is not separate from you. It is not something you manipulate from a distance. It is something you are entangled with. You are the field. You are the wave. You are the observer and the observed. So when you tune your frequency, you are not just asking life to meet you. You are becoming the version of life you have been seeking.